Well, welcome to another Lightblade Learning Lab. You cast your mind back to the previous session and we made a little box. I promised you there that we would make a slightly different version of a gift box, and what I plan to do is to show you the creative, or perhaps it's the non-creative process that I go through to make one of these boxes. My artistic creative skills are pretty close to zero. So I have to rely on borrowing other people's skills to make my designs. And I'm going to show you that process today. And along the way, I should be showing you how we're going to convert a bitmap file into a vector file so that it can be cut on here as opposed to engraved. Well, to show you how I go about producing some of my designs, as I mentioned to you, I'm no artist. So I have to go and look for other people's artistic talent and bolt things together that I can find on the interweb. Well, today we're going to start off by hunting for a butterfly to use in this project. Now, it's not a real butterfly. What I want to find, and I'm going to put this in a search for butterfly graphics. That's always a good term to use, graphics, because it will get you to pictures like this, and then we've got images of butterfly graphics. Now I can already see one there that I think is quite nice. We're eventually going to have to make this black and white, so we could either choose something like this one. I mean, there are loads to choose from, as you can see, and we've got a nice clear picture there, and we will now do a screen grab of it. So we should just do a, and then we should go to Photoshop. Now you may not have Photoshop, you may have something else. Photoshop is something that I prefer and I use, but I'm going to show you how I do it, and then you can adapt this method to suit your software. We're trying to convert this now into a DXF file, which basically is a vector format file. What we have here at the moment is a bitmap file with all sorts of shades and colours in it, but what we're trying to do is to get a skeletal drawing that we can cut rather than engrave. And to do that, what I'm going to go is to Image, Adjustments, and down at the bottom I've got something called Posterize. Now I can set the posterize levels to different levels, and really we're after black and white, and if black and white is what we're after, then we're after only 2 levels. And there we are. Look, we've got rid of the shadow around the outside, and we've got the basic shape still. The only problem is we've still got some yellow in there, some colour, so we can get rid of that as well by going somewhere else. Okay, now we can go to Image, we can go to Mode, then we can go to Grayscale, discard the colour information. In 2 simple steps, we've got ourselves a nice black and white image, crisp black and white image. Now we need to save that. PNG is a good format. Okay, now I'm going to go and work in Adobe Illustrator. So we'll open this PNG here, and we'll use the object trace, live trace, make. And then we'll do object again, live trace, and the option that we want is show the tracing result, show outlines, and there we go. So we've got the outlines. I can either take it as an AutoCAD drawing, which I can deal with, or we can do a DXF file. We'll try the DXF file, and now we'll go into my CAD program, Butterfly DXF. And there we go, we've got the Butterfly DXF now as a CAD file. Now the only problem is, the chances are that if we look at this closely, we shall probably find that there are 2 lines. If we find a corner somewhere, we might find that there are 2 tracings here. Look, can you see that? We've got a tracing of the black outline and a tracing of the white outline. It's one of the problems with doing a tracing.
So we've got two lots of data there overlapped on top of each other on that. So first of all, we'll convert this from splines, as they call them, which is that brown shape, convert to lines and arcs. Lines and circles, lines and arcs. That's all we've got to play with. And so that's how this drawing will get converted. Even though it looks like all sorts of funny shapes, it'll get converted into just those two features. Delete the original. Okay. And there we go. Let's try nice and green, which tells me it's now been converted into something called geometry. What we're really interested in is a butterfly. We're not interested in a wonky butterfly. So what we should do is we will draw a line approximately through the middle of this butterfly here, like that. And then we'll see how far off of vertical it is by drawing a vertical line, F3, sorry. And then we'll go up here and we'll measure the angle. And the angle between that line and that line is 3.618. So we can pick up this whole drawing and rotate it. Rotate. About any point, 3.618, enter, enter. And there we go. We've now got a butterfly that's vertical. Now we can choose either half for our master. And I'll tell you what we should do. We'll just delete that because we don't need it anymore. We should delete that because we don't need it anymore. And this piece here, well, this is quite important because what we're going to do now is there's a feature here called trim. 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 And now everything else are separate features. And so now I should be able to do delete and just come in here like this and delete them. And there we go. So now we've got half a butterfly. We're going to finish up with a whole butterfly. But what we're going to do is we're going to have to think about this because some of this stuff is going to be very delicate between these wings by the time we cut these out. So what we need to do is to rework this. I mean, for instance, here, look, we've got a join here. We can't have that. What we can do, we can put an offset in. And let's just see what we've got. Offset of, we'll offset geometry and we'll offset it by, let's just say 1 millimeter and see how much that is. Yeah, that looks quite nice. Maybe we can just do it the simple way like this. We'll offset all of these by 1 mil. Bear in mind, as I said to you, there are double shapes on here, so I have to delete them twice. Okay, now the gaps between those shapes now are probably more realistic. So I'll go around and take all the double images off. Right, so there's our basic butterfly. Well, it's a bit, it's a little bit tight just here, isn't it? You know, it's getting close to this. This gap here is going to be very small. So I think what we might do is just change that slightly, and we'll delete that. And then we will just put this tangent to line or arc on here, and we'll join it onto the end of there, like that. There we go, that's better. Right, so now we've got a much stronger antenna, and we might need the body stretched a little bit. So what I might do is to put something like a 2 millimeter offset on this to start with. So we'll put a 2 millimeter offset on here, like that. We delete this. Basically what we've done, we've changed the center line. We're going to make this moth, we're going to make this butterfly fatter. Nobody will notice that. So now we shall mirror this, keep the original, and then we will do and extend to that line like that, and then we'll do one of these tangent to arc things from here to here. Well, there's our beautiful vector butterfly now, courtesy of no skill on my part. So that's part one of this project. Well, it's taken best part of 3/4 of an hour to do that. So we've got our basic graphic idea. We've got a butterfly. Now I want to try and find a little box, or I want to find inspiration from somewhere for a box design. So I'm going to nick somebody else's idea now. Let's go and have a look at wedding favour boxes. Oh, here we go. Images. This is what we want. I'm just looking for something that's a little bit different. Oh, look, there's an interesting box. Could have done something like that, couldn't I? Now, I see something like this and think triangular. Oh, look, that's an interesting one as well. I saw something here. Look, these boxes here. It's not what I want, but I've just seen something in my mind that I can see working. So, okay, you've seen me pinch a butterfly. You've seen me pinch a basic idea for a box. This is the way that I go about my cardboard engineering. So I should go back to my CAD system now, and I'm not going to drag you through the pain of design. So I'll present you with my design when it's finished. Now, this is the paper that I tend to use for my cards and for most of my cardboard engineering. It's a nice white art paper. I'll take the red stuff out because that's something slightly different. But this is 100 sheets which come in a pad, and it's basically a watercolour paper, as you can see. But it's 200 grams and it's got a very nice sort of texture to it. Now, what I've got to do is take a quick look at my pin bed underneath here, because we need to make sure we've got support down the middle. We will just check we've got our focus set to 6.5. 5. We need air, but not too much of it. We can see that some of the detail on here is a little bit on the too delicate side. Okay, let's see what the end result is going to be like, shall we? So that's the outside. So we need to tuck these little tabs down. We need to fold these back. And that's in essence what the box is about. But what we've got to do now is, if we look carefully, you'll see that I've left a little slot at the bottom here and a little slot at the top there. So what we've got to do is very carefully engage these two butterflies together like that. So they sit neatly on the corner, crossed over like that. and look just like a little butterfly sitting there on the corner. And they hold the edges of the box together. So we've got to do that for all 4 corners. Carefully fold them into each other like this. There we go. And then we're going to put this pair across the top here. We're going to engage those 2 little teeth like that. And then we're going to do the same thing with these 2 butterflies, but the opposite way. So we're going to have to pull these very gently apart to get them past each other. And there we go. We've got a very delicate little gift box. So I think any young lady would be very pleased to receive that, especially if it's got diamond rings or diamond earrings or an airline ticket to New York, or the possibilities are endless. There is one other possibility for this, which if you're in business, rather than trying to impress your young lady, you could quite easily cut or etch names on these, and these could be wedding favours and place positions, seating positions, both at the same time. So maybe there's some business there for somebody. This design will be available from the Thinklaser website, the same as the other boxes will be as well. So feel free, use it, adapt it, modify it. Well, I hope that I've demonstrated that there's a lot of potential in cardboard engineering, both to enjoy yourself and maybe to make some money as well. So all I can say to you is thank you very much for your patience. We shall return to cardboard engineering later on in the series, when we'll probably do some birthday cards or Christmas cards or Easter cards. Depends on the time of the year. But for now, thank you very much for your time, and I shall see you in the next session.